Hey, it's Dustin. I just wanted to go off script today, talk to you for a few minutes, and kind of need somebody to talk to. Just get so lonely on this side of the screen. No, I'm kidding. This side of the screen, more fun than that side of the screen, I promise. Anyway, this video serves two purposes. One, I kind of wanted to give myself a video to kind of play around with my editing software. As it is now, I just upload my footage to my computer, kind of slap at the keyboard like a threatened monkey, then I hide behind my chair and peek around the corner till a rendered video comes out. That's my process. And secondly, and most importantly, I wanted to talk about language learning materials, specifically the Swedish kind. The idea behind this channel was not to have it be one of those look at me channels. I wanted to give something back to the people who are watching, so that's why I do the Learn Swedish with Me videos, even though I'm not exactly sure how much you're learning from me, but hopefully they're helpful. And I know at least one case where it was, so that's something. The problem is, when I started this channel, I was already halfway through a 1-year experiment. So by the time I started putting videos up, I'd already gone through the beginner stuff. I was already, comfortable with the language. I had already, gone through all the little baby step stuff was already taken care of, and the channel never really got any of that. So I feel like I didn't get to do kind of what I decided I wanted this channel to do after I started the channel, if that makes any sense. I mean, like, I originally started the channel just to get some feedback on me jabbering about a minute's worth of really bad Swedish into the camera. Hopefully somebody would watch that, give me feedback about how I could improve, and they absolutely did. I got tons of great feedback. So because I kind of came in late in the progress with the YouTube channel, I figured I would go ahead and talk about some of the resources I used to get to where I am, and some of the things that I'm still currently using. And maybe that'll be helpful for anybody out there in the earlier stages, or even anybody out there who's where I'm at, which is, I guess, still technically an early stage. I don't know. So when I first started learning Swedish, I was really lucky and I was able to get my hands on a very used, very cheap, very second-hand copy of the Pimsleur Swedish audio course. Now, I know I've mentioned it on a blog that I don't really update anymore, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it here. But I'm not a huge fan of the Pimsleur method. I mean, really, a lot of times it seems like it should be called the American's Guide to Picking Up Foreign Chicks on a Bus method. I mean, a lot of times it gets fairly creepy fairly quickly. And, one example is there's a dialogue that you have to follow along, and it's, you're an American man at a party and you see a woman and go talk to the woman. And in the course of the dialogue, you ask her, where's your husband? She says she doesn't know. She asks you where your wife is. You say you don't know. Then you ask her if she wants to get a drink with you. Then her husband shows up, your wife shows up, and then you leave. I don't know, it just seems sketchy. But enough of my personal biases. If you can get your hands on the Pimsleur method early, it is a really good starting point for a language that really, I don't know, it feels like not a lot of people are putting out early materials in Swedish, probably because everybody's got that idea that all Swedes speak English, and in a lot of cases Swedes do speak English, and in a lot of those cases better than we do. So if you get your hands on Pimsleur, it's a really good starting point. It gives you the confidence to really continue on. It gets you speaking early, gets you used to the language, you learn all sorts of new words and how to piece them together to make something fairly coherent. And actually, my first video of me speaking Swedish in my band, all of that was pieced together from stuff that I had learned from Pimsleur, pretty much exclusively. Obviously, it's a good start if you're kind of an audio learner like I am, like listen, repeat stuff works pretty okay for me. I've played with like the Michelle Thomas course, and I find that that stuff works the best for me. Except they never made one for Swedish, so Pimsleur is like close second, so that works out for me. After I went through the Pimsleur course about, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times, really just trying to nail it down the best I could, I started trying to look up grammar rules. Wikiversity has, a whole Swedish section. You can go and look up, genders and plurals and, all the rules that you would need to know. And then I found out that Duolingo had a Swedish course come out in beta right about the time when I really started getting serious about Swedish. So I signed up for that, and you can actually find me on there. I've got a ton of people following me, and I'm following them. And I've been slacking here lately, but I'll be back on that in about a week, trying to boost my numbers up there. But Duolingo is actually really good. The kind of the robot audio that they give you when you go through the course is kind of sketchy, but for the most part it's really good. It teaches you all the grammar points that you would have had to go scour the internet and little blogs and Wikipedia or textbooks or whatever. They present those all to you, and then they give you exercises on how to use those. So yeah, that's a really good resource, and I'm enjoying that quite a bit. And in addition to that, I'm using the Memrise course for the 3,000 most common Swedish words. 3,000 words in any language is kind of like, I don't know, 80% of what you're going to hear at any given time, unless you're in a specialized field. But the cool thing is, if you've gone through Pimsleur and Duolingo like me, and once you start doing this Memrise course, like half the words on there you already know. So it's not like 3,000 words, at least not at the point I'm at. It's kind of like, it feels like less, even though I know I'm still going over 3,000 words. I still know a good chunk of them, so it doesn't seem like such a big mountain to climb. Another thing I use is SwedishPod101.com. What they offer there is a series of podcasts. They have them separated by learner level, and they're on a range of topics from, from your ABCs all the way up to applying for a job or ordering food or taking a taxi. Stuff that's kind of important or at least useful. They've also got like video lessons and stuff like that, and cultural lessons, and all the time they're teaching you Swedish. Before you can get into that, though, you actually have to go and sign up for an account. A basic membership is free, and then you can go in there and I guess they give you a short time to do some of the more advanced stuff. Basically, I used my time to get in there and just download every MP3 and every video that I could find, load them all onto my iPod, and listen to them while I'm at work. So that's what I do. And it's pretty helpful. I mean, honestly, I logged in once, I downloaded every MP3 I could find. They don't let you download all the PDFs unless you pay for a premium subscription. But I went in there, I got all the videos, I got all the MP3s, and I haven't really been back since. But I still have the MP3s, and they're pretty helpful. So if that's something you think might be helpful to you, go ahead and check that out. I thought it was pretty neat. Also, a huge shout out to Reddit. Without the guys over at svenska, which is the Swedish learners subreddit, I would be so clueless on so many things. There are people over there, you post a question about Swedish, something that you don't understand, and really it's fairly quickly that somebody jumps on it and really just gives you an answer or breaks it down and explains it to you. It seems like a small community, but they're always there in the comments section and offering great advice. I mean, I'm there all the time. I've posted a few questions, and all my Swedish speaking videos get posted up there so I can get feedback from those guys. I'm sure they think that by now I'm some sort of video, attention whore or something, but honestly, I'm just looking for the feedback, and they have been great at correcting all the crazy stuff I mess up. So if you're learning Swedish, go there. Great people there, and they've always got the right answers. Another thing I like to do is I like to watch TV in Swedish, which is actually really more difficult than you think if you don't want to watch just news. A lot of Swedish TV seems to be in English. In fact, from what I can tell, a lot of Swedish TV seems to be American TV with Swedish subtitles at the bottom, and they don't even dub it over to Swedish. It's just all English with subtitles. And that's kind of cool if you want to, like if you've memorized an episode of Friends or 2.5 Men or whatever crap that is being repackaged from us to them. Like if you've memorized a TV show and you can get your hands on the Swedish subtitled episode, it might be helpful. I'm not sure. I don't really watch much of my own country's television. I always just kind of found it cooler to watch TV from other countries if I could find it. However, if you want to watch the news, you can find all sorts of Swedish news channels online that you could watch. But you could also go to Svtplay, and there they've got TV shows, there's news there, but there's other stuff there too. And a lot of it's region locked. You can't watch it if you're in the US, but there are a few shows there that you can get your hands on. And really, if you're just looking for something that's not news and not American TV repackaged for a foreign market, that's pretty good for, I mean, for free. I heard you can pay for some stuff, but I'm not into that, so free is what I go with. Also, I pretty much have Swedish music playing all the time. My headphones, my computer, turned down way low so I don't, like, you know, annoy everybody else in my house who's not currently in love with Swedish. I leave Swedish music on when I go to bed at night. What I'm doing is I'm using my my TuneIn app on my tablet. I found a station called Swedish Hit Radio, and it's just exactly what it says it is. It's a radio station that plays nothing but hits from Sweden. Problem is, same with radio as with their TV, a lot of it's in English. That's just, I guess that's the hazard of learning Swedish. You're going to run into a lot of English. But what I've done is I've used a site called DarFM. You have to sign up for an account, of course. You log on to that. You choose your radio station and set it to record. You can go up to like 5 hours, I think. And you know, you just log out and walk away from it and come back after your scheduled recording is done, and it'll have it set up in little 15-minute chunks that you can download and then put that on whatever your music player of choice would be. They used to have an option where you could download it directly through iTunes, but now I think they want you to pay for that. And it's not so hard to just click download a couple times and get your, you know, your 15-minute chunks of music. I'll record 4 hours of Swedish Hit Radio and download that and listen to that. I'll listen for the songs in Swedish, and if I like that song, I'll try to make a note of it. And then I'll use SoundHound or, you know, some other application that's able to tell what song it is by the music. And I'll get an artist name and a song name, and then I'll look that up. And that way I'll be able to find the lyrics to the song that I'm listening to. And then I'll just go ahead and I'll save that song also and put that on my iPod. So I've got just a playlist of Swedish songs that I found on Swedish Hit Radio and that I liked. And I think if any actual Swede took a look at my playlist, they might think I'm crazy. I don't really know how that looks, but I bet it looks weird. So that's about it for this video. I know this video was, I guess, probably longer than any I've done so far, but I felt like I had a lot to cover and that I was making up for some stuff that didn't get put in here when it probably should have, so that's that. So what are you using? Let me know in the comments. Tell me, is it the same thing that I'm using? Are you using something different? Are you using something better? I'd really like to sort of get a dialogue going on about the language tools that we're all using and kind of compare notes and see who's doing what and how it's working for everybody. So if you've got something, leave it in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you're seeing, and that's it. I'll see you later.